So now the concept, there is a continuity class of yesterday's class. Already I completed two applications. Now it is a continuity part. So next application, that is the third one. That is, this dipole moment is useful to distinguish cis and trans isomers. Useful to distinguish cis-trans isomers. So what is this cis-trans isomers? It is in organic chemistry, boys. So similar groups at the double bond are in the same site. That is cis. See here. So there is a C double bond C. So carbon has 4 bonds. These are the 4 bonds. That means this carbon has 2 valence free. This carbon also has 2 valence free. 2 is satisfied with double bonds. So now this is satisfied with hydrogen. This is satisfied with methyl group. This is satisfied with hydrogen. This is satisfied with methyl group. This is the double bonded axis. So with the through that axis, so CH3, similar groups on the same side of the double bond. This type of compounds are called as cis compounds. Next, similar groups are on opposite sides. It is CH3 this side. Now here CH3. This is HN. This is double bonded axis. 2 methyl groups are on the opposite side of the C double bond C. So similar groups are on the opposite sides. The type of compounds are called as trans compounds. So these cis-trans compounds are distinguished with the help of this dipole moment. How, sir? See here. Here methyl group has electron donating tendency. So try to identify. So methyl group has electron donating, it donates electron pair to carbon. This one also donates electron pair to the carbon. So this is the direction of dipole moment. Overall, altogether, this is the direction of dipole moment. But opposite side, there is no dipole moment to cancel that. That means in this case, mu not equal to 0. See here. Here methyl group, this right, so this is the direction of dipole moment. Here methyl group donates this side, so this is the direction of dipole moment. So this is a plus mu, it is a minus mu, both are in opposite direction, opposite way. Therefore, in this case, mu is equal to 0. So that means generally trans isomers have mu is equal to 0 if these two groups are same, or sometimes mu has less value. Sometimes, but here mu is equal to 0 because the groups are same, but sometimes mu is equal to mu has less value. So here mu has more value. More mu value, less mu value. Therefore, cis isomers have dipole moment high, and trans isomers, if the groups are same, that is equal to 0. If groups are not same, that is equal to something less value. Something is cancelled, remaining is remaining. Okay. So here, I will give one example. HCl, Br, HN. It is the double bonded axis. So here two groups on the same side. It is the cis compounds. So here electron density. This is the direction because halogens are more electronegative. So this is the electron dipole moment axis. This is the dipole moment direction. These two resulting direction is this one, but opposite is no. Therefore, mu is not equal to 0. So it has more value. Here I am taking one more example. So CH2C. This is H, this is Cl, this is Br, this is Hn. So this is the internuclear axis, this is hydrogen, Similar groups are opposite sides, that is the trans compounds. Okay, so here that is the dipole moment. Bromine is more electronegative. That is, it is the direction. So it is the direction. So both are in opposite, but here bromine it is chlorinated. That means mu not equal to 0, but something value is cancelled. Therefore, mu has a less value, and because these two groups are not same, my dear boys. Here two groups are same. That's why mu is equal to 0. Here two groups are not same. That's why mu not equal to 0. So if similar groups are there, mu is equal to 0. Different groups are there, mu is not equal to 0. So like that, that means generally cis compounds have lower mu value. Sorry, cis compounds have more mu value. Trans compounds have high mu value. And based on these concepts, we can distinguish the cis compound and trans component. So cis compound and trans compound. Next. Next application, that is fourth one. It is useful to calculate the percentage ionic character of a covalent bond. It is useful to calculate the percentage ionic character of a covalent bond. So what is this? So my dear boys, in our chemistry, so generally we are frequently taking two types of bonds, ionic bonds and covalent bonds. So ionic bond, no ionic bond is 100% ionic, no covalent bond is 100% covalent. So if there is a covalent bond, there should be something partial ionic nature is there. So ionic is there, so partial covalent nature is also there. Ionic is there, partial covalent nature. So covalent is there, partial ionic nature is there. Now, so there is a covalent bond, it has a partial something ionic character. That ionic character, percentage of ionic character is calculated by using the formula percentage ionic nature. Very, very important, boys. Percentage ionic nature is equal to mu observed by mu calculated into 100. Very, very important formula. Number of times more bits are formed asked on this formula. Percentage ionic character of the covalent bond is equal to observed mu value, that is experimental mu value, by calculated based on our calculations into 100, or percentage ionic character is equal to mu given by mu calculated into 100, or mu experimental by mu calculated into 100. Whatever it may be the formula, that is the value to calculate percentage. That is the formula used to calculate percentage ionic nature of the chemical state. So I'm giving a problem based on this topic. See here. The experimental dipole moment of, based on this one, a question any. The experimental dipole moment. The experimental dipole moment of HCl is 1.03 dBn. And its interionic distance is 1.27 angstroms. 1.27 angstroms. Full stop. Calculate the percentage ionic nature of HCl bonds. Calculate the percentage ionic nature of HCl bond. Very, very important. A number of times asked this model problem asked. That much very, very important. Okay. So the experimental dipole moment of HCl already mu experimental value is given to you, that is 1.03 debye. Now I want to calculate mu value, calculated mu value. So this is given value. So mu calculated is equal to, how to calculate mu value? What is the formula used to calculate mu value? That is charge into distance. Charge into distance. So how much is the charge? See boys, it is HCl molecule. There is a bond between hydrogen and chlorine. This hydrogen gets partial negative positive charge, this chlorine gets partial positive charge. Sorry. Chlorine gets partial negative charge, hydrogen gets partial positive charge. Because chlorine has more electronegativity than hydrogen. More electronegativity than hydrogen. So see here -1 is the charge. -1 charge means one extra electron is needed to chlorine. That means the charge due to one electron. Therefore, charge is equal to electron charge. Charge is equal to 1 electron. Because it is -1, 1 into charge of 1 electron. If it is -2, 2 into charge of the electron. Like that. Here -1 is there. -1 means charge 1 into charge 1. That is charge of electron. That is 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. So if coulombs are required, that is SI unit, or 4.8 into 10 power minus 10 ESU set. So it is a CCS unit. It is a CCS unit. So 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. So coulometer is used as a unit. So use coulombs value. 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. So CCS, that is ESU centimeters. I am using ESU centimeters first. So 4.8 into 10 power minus 10. Now I am using this value. Therefore, mu is equal to, delta is equal to, this is the delta value, 4.8 into 10 power minus 10 ESU into length, distance. Length is given to you as this much value. This is the length value. This is the value, given value. L is equal to this much. So L is equal to 1.27 into angstroms. I am going to convert into centimeters. 10 power minus 8 centimeters. Given L is equal to 1.27 angstroms, but we must use in centimeters because I am taking CCS units. 1.27 into 10 power minus 8 centimeters. So this is L value because 1 angstrom is equal to 10 power minus 8 centimeters. 1 angstrom is equal to 10 power minus 8 centimeters. So like that, this is the centimeters value. So that is equal to 4.8 into 1.27 into 10 power minus 10, 10 power minus 8, which is equal to 10 power minus 18. It is in ESU, it is in centimeters. ESU centimeters per unit. ESU centimeters. But we know 10 power minus 18 ESU centimeters is equal to 1 debye. Therefore, 4.8 into 1.27 debye. So this value, that is equal to 6.07 debye. This is a calculated mu value, boys. This is a calculated mu value. So this is experimental mu value. This is a calculated mu value. Use these two mu values. Use these two mu values. So to calculate percentage ionic character, therefore, percentage ionic nature is equal to mu experimental by mu calculated into 100. Mu experimental, that is 1.0603 by mu calculated 6.07 into 100, which is equal to, finally we get 16.9%. Finally we get 16.9. This is the way to calculate percentage ionic nature of the compound. Very, very, very important. percentage ionic character. So the given value is mu given value in it, that is experimental value in it. So based on our calculations, we calculated some mu value in it. That is mu calculated value in it. So mu observed by or mu experimental by mu calculated into 100. That is the final mu percentage ionic nature. That is the final percentage ionic nature. So number of times this model problems are asked in your objective set. Please be conscious about this problem. And this is the way to calculate percentage ionic nature of the covalent bonds. Next. Next, that is another application. It is used to calculate. It is used to calculate bond moment. Bond moment. Yes, it is bond moment. So what is this bond moment, sir? Bond moment is nothing but, so in polyatomic molecules, particularly it is applicable for polyatomic molecules, the contribution of individual bonds in the dipole moment, is called bond moment. So that means in entire dipole moment calculation, so from one bond, how much is its contribution to calculate that by dipole moment? So it is the contribution of a single bond in a polyatomic molecule during calculation of that is the dipole moment is called as bond moment. So according to concept, that is mu observed is equal to 2 into bond moment into cos theta by 2. This is the formula used to calculate bond moment of the component. So it is also important. Very, very important. Or mu observed is equal to under root mu1 square plus mu2 square plus 2 mu1 mu2 cos theta. 2 mu1 mu2 cos theta. It is also another formula used to calculate bond moment. So used to calculate bond moment. See here, there is AB2 molecule. So in this direction mu1, in this direction mu2. The resulting vector is like this. It is a mu. So this mu observed is equal to mu1 square plus mu2 square plus 2 mu1 mu2 cos theta. Theta is the angle between them. So that is the bond angle. Here theta is the bond angle. So by using this bond angle, we can calculate. So this is the generally used formula. Mu observed is equal to, that is the calculated. So is equal to 2 into bond moment into cos theta by 2. So by using this, there is a problem. See here. Question, the dipole moment of the dipole moment of H2S is 0.95 day by N. 0.95 day by N. Find the bond moment. Find the bond moment. If the bond angle is 97 degrees. Find the bond moment if the bond angle is 97 degrees. Okay, so this is the question. So he want to calculate bond moment. So our answer, that is our solution is, so mu observed or given value is equal to 2 into bond moment into cos theta by 2. Cos theta by 2. This is the formula. So given, so C multiplied by cos 48.5 degrees is equal to 0.662, and that is the given value. Cos 48.5 degrees is equal to 0.662. That is the given value to you. Okay. Mu observed is equal to 2 into bond moment into cos theta by 2. So mu observed. So this is mu observed value. Next, this is the theta value. This is the theta value. Substitute those values here. So mu observed 0.95 is equal to 2 into bond moment into cos theta by 2, 97 by 2. Therefore, bond moment is equal to 0.95 by 2 into cos 97 by 2 is nothing but 48.5. 48.5. That is equal to 0.95 by 2 into cos 48.5 is given as 0.662. 0.662. Finally, we will get the answer, that is 0.717 day by. 0.717 day by. So bond moment also has the units of dipole moment in it. So 0.717. 0.717. It is the way to calculate bond moment. It is the way. So these two formulas, bond moment and percentage ionic character. So number of times repeatedly asked based on this formula. So this is very, very important. Mu observed is equal to 2 into bond moment into cos theta by 2. Okay. So similarly, percentage ionic nature is equal to mu observed by mu calculated into 100. So these are the two formulas required, very, very important. Very, very important. So number of times asked based on these two formulas. So this is previous formula, this is now I am doing the same problem and based on this formula. Okay, these are the applications of dipole moment. These are the applications of dipole moment. Okay, see here, please make the clarification. This is dichlorobenzene, which is called as orthodichlorobenzene. This is metadichlorobenzene. Metadichlorobenzene. This is a paradichlorobenzene. Parachlorobenzene. There are three compounds, dichlorobenzene. So these has a C here. So this is the angle between two chlorines. This is theta. Next, this is the angle between two dipoles. This is theta. Here also, this is the angle, boys. This is theta. Among these three compounds, 1, 2, 3, where dipole moment may be equal to 0? Tell me. Where dipole moment may be equal to 0? Yes, yes, yes. Likit, all of you. Correct, boys. See here. See here. So this is the direction of dipole moment. This is the direction of dipole moment. These two resulting value like this. So opposite no value is there. Therefore not equal to 0. Not equal to 0. Next, here is the direction of dipole moment. Here is the direction of dipole moment. Here is the resulting value. So exactly opposite no value is there. Therefore here also mu is equal to not equal to 0. But here, this is the direction of dipole moment, but CCl bonds. This is the direction of dipole moment, exactly opposite, and both are coherent. So this is a plus mu, this is a minus mu. Therefore, mu is equal to 0. Mu is equal to 0. Okay. Among these three molecules, which one has greatest dipole moment? So mu value is inversely proportional to theta. It is important, boys. Mu value is inversely proportional to theta. Lower the angle between the bonds, automatically higher is the bond angle. So therefore, mu order, dipole moment order is 1 greater than 2 greater than 3. Dipole moment order is 1 greater than 2 greater than 3. 1 has greatest dipole moment, 3 has 0 dipole moment. 3 has 0 dipole moment. Now I will give one more question. See here. It is OH. It is OH. It is SH thioalcohols antaru. These are thioalcohols. So SH and SH. This is cyanide. This is cyanide. These are the three compounds. This is chloro. This is chloro. This is the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 compounds. Now my question is, among all these, mu is equal to 0 for dash. Among all these, mu is equal to 0 for which one? Yes, yes. Okay. Okay, see here. My answer is 3 and 4 and this one and this one has mu not equal to 0. These two have here mu not equal to 0. Here also mu not equal to 0. But in this case, mu is equal to 0. In this case also mu is equal to 0. How? I will explain. Please wait. So this is alcohol like this. OH bond is like this bond. It is OH. It is not linear, boys. It is not linear. Something angle is there at oxygen. Here also OH bond like this. Something angle is there. Therefore, it is a non-linear molecule. It is a non-linear. Mu not equal to 0. Mu not equal to 0. Next. SH also similar end. Instead of oxygen, there is a sulfur end. So it is also non-linear, therefore mu not equal to 0, just like this one, non-linear molecule. Next, CN. Carbon nitrogen bond is a triple bond. Carbon nitrogen bond is triple bond, so this is linear. Here also carbon nitrogen, carbon is in sp hybridization, so it is a linear molecule, my dear boy. Therefore mu is equal to 0, and mu is equal to 0. Already I explained that. So there is chlorine and chlorine, both these are linear. This is a linear molecule. Here also mu is equal to 0. Mu is equal to 0. Therefore, so linear molecules generally have mu equal to 0. This is both these are similar groups. Both these are similar groups. Even though these are similar groups, these are non-linear. That is why mu not equal to 0, mu not equal to 0. Those two compounds have mu is equal to 0. Our answer is these two compounds. Our answer is these two compounds. This is very, very, very important. Now, the important topic is hydrogen bonding. Very, very, very important and interesting one. So listen carefully. Hydrogen bonding. What is this hydrogen bond? Hydrogen bond or hydrogen bonding? What is this? So this is nothing but a weak electrostatic attraction between hydrogen atom and high electronegative atom. It is a weak electrostatic attraction between hydrogen atom and high electronegative atom of the same molecule or different molecule. This high electronegative element may be connected to the same molecule of hydrogen or different molecule of hydrogen. So very, very important. It is a weak electrostatic attraction. That means hydrogen bond is a weak bond. Hydrogen bond is a weak bond. It is a weak electrostatic attractive force between hydrogen atom and high electronegative element of the same molecule or different molecules. See here. Once again, this hydrogen atom which is involved in hydrogen bonding must be bonded to high electronegative atom. So see here, very, very important. So the hydrogen atom which is participating in hydrogen bonding must be bonded to high electronegative atom. What is this high electronegative atom, sir? So in our chemistry, high electronegative elements are nothing but fluorine, oxygen, and nitrogen. High electronegative elements, only these three are. So electronegativity of this fluorine is, that is on Pauling scale, that is 4.0. Oxygen has 3.5. Nitrogen has 3.0 on Pauling scale. So therefore, the greatest electronegative elements in entire periodic table are we considered as fluorine, chlorine, oxygen. Yes, there is a chlorine. It has also 3.0. But during hydrogen bonding, we consider only these three entities. We don't consider this chlorine, even though that has same electronegativity that is along with nitrogen. Even though chlorine has the same electronegativity along with nitrogen, chlorine generally not involved in hydrogen bonding. Why? I will explain. Yes, I will explain. Please wait. So in this case, only we consider high electronegative elements as that is fluorine, oxygen, and nitrogen. See here. So the hydrogen atom, which is weakly attracted, weak electrostatic attraction with high electronegative elements of the same molecule or different molecule. This hydrogen atom must be connected with, must be bonded with another high electronegative element. So I will give examples. See here. See here, boys. There is H2O molecule. This is H2O molecule. It is oxygen bonded, boys. It has high electronegativity. So this is the hydrogen atom connected with high electronegative elements. Hydrogen atom bonded with high electronegative elements. So this also hydrogen atom bonded with high electronegative element. This is just water molecule. It is H2O molecule. Next, another H2O molecule I am going to take. This is another H2O molecule. This is H2O molecule. These are the two water molecules. These are two water molecules. Here, hydrogen atom connected with high electronegative element. This oxygen has, because of electronegativity difference, this oxygen gets partial negative charge. This hydrogen gets partial positive charge. Similarly, here also, this oxygen gets partial negative charge. This hydrogen gets partial positive charge. This hydrogen gets partial positive charge. This hydrogen gets partial positive charge. This is due to polarity. Those bonds are polar bonds. Now, it is one water molecule, it is another water molecule. Here, hydrogen connected with oxygen, high electronegative element. It is the water molecule. This is the oxygen atom. Now, because it is the negative, it is a positive. Because these two are nearer to each other, there is a weak electrostatic attractive force existing between oxygen atom of this molecule and hydrogen atom of another molecule. Actually, there is no interaction between them, but because polarity, hydrogen gets partial positive charge, this oxygen gets partial negative charge. So are something nearer to each other. Because of that nearer condition, so there is an attractive force. This attractive force is nothing but electrostatic attractive force. Electrostatic attractive force. This electrostatic attractive force leads to the bond formation. Bond formation. This bond is called as hydrogen bond. This bond is called as hydrogen bond. Now, once again, I am repeating the statement. See here. A weak electrostatic force of attraction present between hydrogen atom and high electronegative atom of the same molecule. It is not same molecule. Of the same molecule or another molecule is called as hydrogen bond. That hydrogen must be connected with another high electronegative element with a covalent bond. Here is the covalent bond. Okay, so this is hydrogen bond. The symbol for this hydrogen bond is dotted line. So this is the symbol. This is the symbol for hydrogen bond. Whenever a dotted line exists, so that is considered as hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bonds. So this is a weak bond. So now, when compared to covalent bond, the strength of different bonds, the strength of different bonds is covalent bonds is stronger than hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds stronger than van der Waals forces. So that means in our chemistry, these are the attractive forces. Van der Waals attractive force, very weak forces. I will explain in states of matter. I will explain states of matter. Okay. So see here, covalent bond greater than hydrogen bond, which is greater than van der Waals forces. That means hydrogen bond is weaker than covalent bond, but stronger than van der Waals forces. But stronger than van der Waals forces. So it is the order of strength of. That means covalent bond is too much strong, hydrogen bond is weak. So van der Waals forces are very, very weak. Very, very weak. So therefore, so this is hydrogen bond. So now I will give one more example. See here, there is HF molecule. There is a covalent bond between H and F. It is one HF molecule. Next, there is one more HF molecule. HF molecule. Like this, number of HF molecules are there. Number of HF molecules are there. Now, This fluorine gets partial negative charge, hydrogen gets partial positive charge because of this polarity. This hydrogen gets partial positive charge, fluorine gets partial negative charge. See here also partial positive charge, partial negative charge. Partial positive charge, partial negative charge. So this is actually happening in your covalent bond side because these are polar covalent bonds. Because these are polar covalent bonds. Now this fluorine negativity and this hydrogen gets positive charge. Because of this, there is a weak electrostatic attractive force existing between that fluorine atom and hydrogen atom of the another molecule. Next, here also, here is all electronegativity, that is the attractive force. Like this, it is going to be continuation. It is with previous molecule. Now, these are nothing but hydrogen bonds. These are nothing but hydrogen bonds. What is that hydrogen bond? It is a weak electrostatic attractive force present between high electronegative element and hydrogen atom. High electronegative element and hydrogen atom. That is hydrogen bonding. That is hydrogen bonding. Now I will give one more example. NH3. It is ammonia molecule. One more NH3 molecule. Ammonia molecule. Ammonia molecule. These are all ammonia molecules. These are all ammonia molecules. So this is one molecule. This is another molecule. This is another molecule. No interaction actually there. But so nitrogen is the third best electronegative element. Third best electronegative element. Because of that, so this nitrogen gets partial negative charge. This hydrogen gets partial positive charge. So like this. This is also partial positive, partial positive. So this one gets partial negative. And next, this is a partial positive, partial positive, partial positive. This one gets partial negative. Nitrogen because more electronegativity. Here also partial negative, partial positive, partial positive, partial positive. So all these are three individual molecules. But these are nearer to each other. There is an attractive force between hydrogen atom of this molecule and the nitrogen atom of this molecule. There is electrostatic attractive force. There is electrostatic attractive force. There is a weak electrostatic attractive force. This is going to be continuation. So this is nothing but hydrogen bond. That means hydrogen bond is present in ammonia molecule, in HF molecule and H2O molecule. Like this. These are the hydrogen bonds. So where this hydrogen bond is located? So it is between hydrogen atom, which is connected with high electronegative element, and another high electronegative element of the same molecule or different molecules. Of the same molecule or different molecules. So these are all hydrogen bonds. Now I will give one more example. See here. That is, it is benzene, boys. Benzene connected with OH, which is called as a phenol. Phenol. This is ortho position. At ortho position, NO2 is there. This is called as O means ortho. Ortho place replaced with nitro group. This is orthonitrophenol. O stands for ortho. Orthonitrophenol. Now see, boys, here hydrogen atom which is bonded with high electronegative element. That's why this one gets partial positive charge. This one gets partial negative charge. Okay. So next, here is the oxygen atom which is the high electronegative element. It is high electronegative element. So between these two, there is a weak electrostatic attractive force. There is a weak electrostatic attractive force. This weak electrostatic attractive force is called as a hydrogen bond. See here, it is entirely same molecule. This molecule is completely same molecule, single molecule. It is a single molecule. It is a single molecule, but this is one group. This is another group. And these are the two groups of the same molecule. And between these two groups, there is a hydrogen bonding. And there is hydrogen bonding. That means this is the hydrogen bond formed between two groups of the same molecule. But here is the hydrogen bond formed between different molecules. So here is the hydrogen bond between different molecules and okay. So here is the hydrogen bond. In this case, hydrogen bond within the molecule and it is the hydrogen bond within the molecule. So that means hydrogen bond is the two types. Hydrogen bond formed between the molecules, hydrogen bond between the two groups of the same molecule. So this type of hydrogen bond between the molecules, this type of hydrogen bond is called as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So it is within the molecule only, within the molecule. This is called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. That means hydrogen bond is of two types. One is intermolecular hydrogen bonding and intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding and intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, boys, see here. Here is this one molecule. This is one HF molecule. It is another HF molecule. Between HF molecules, there is intermolecule. There is a hydrogen bond. Between the molecules means inter. What is the meaning of inter? Inter means between. Between the molecules, there is hydrogen bonding. That's why it is called as intermolecular. Intermolecular means between the molecules. Hydrogen bonding and intermolecular hydrogen bonding and. But here, it is the same molecule. It is the same molecule between two groups of the same molecule. Therefore, within the molecule, within the means intra. Intra means within. Within the molecule means intra. So within the molecule, there is hydrogen bonding, which is called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Therefore, finally, we have two types of hydrogen bonds. Finally, we have two types of hydrogen bonds. So two types. One is intermolecular hydrogen bonds, and the second one is intramolecular hydrogen bond. Intermolecular hydrogen bonds, intramolecular hydrogen bonds. Here, hydrogen bonds formed between formed between different molecules. Different molecules of the same substance or other substances. See here. See here. It is H2O molecule. It is one molecule. It is another H2O molecule. Like this, number of H2O molecules are there. So there is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. There is intermolecular hydrogen. This hydrogen also gives another hydrogen bonding. This is with other hydrogen bonding. This is the number of hydrogen bonds. Okay. This is water molecule with this is water molecule. That means these two are the same substance. Between different molecules. Same substance, different water molecules. This is intermolecular. So once again, see here. There is alcohol. R means alkyl group. So there is alcohol. So this is water molecule. It is water. So this is alcohol molecule. Between these two, intermolecular hydrogen bonding is possible. So alcohol molecule, water molecule, hydrogen bond is possible. That means other substances may also involve in intermolecular hydrogen bonding. That means that hydrogen bonding may be between the similar molecules or different molecules. Whatever it may be, between different molecules, different, that is two molecules and between two molecules. That is the hydrogen bond. That type of hydrogen bond is called as inter. Inter means always between. Now you are in intermediate stage. Inter means from between stages, not exactly 10th class lower section and graduate stages. So it is in between school studies and college studies. It is in between school studies and college studies. So that's why this stage is called as intermediate stage. That is why we are taking this is intermediate. This is intermediate course. It is not college, it is not school. It is between it. It is a crucial period in your life. Like that, this is also plays an important role in the properties of the molecules. It is also plays an important role in the properties of the molecules. How? I will explain. Please wait. So that means the hydrogen bond, intermolecular hydrogen bond is formed between different molecules of the same substance or different molecules of the different substances. Next one. Next one, intra. What is the meaning of intra? Within the molecule. Intra. So intra molecular hydrogen bonding. And that means hydrogen bond is formed within the molecule. And within the molecule, a hydrogen bond is formed, which is called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. And intramolecular hydrogen bonding. See here. This is phenol. This is aldehyde. So orthohydroxybenzaldehyde. Orthohydroxybenzaldehyde. This hydrogen atom and this oxygen atom, between them there is a hydrogen bond. And this is one group. This is another group. Between them there is a hydrogen bond. This hydrogen bond is called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Like this. See here. This is a phenol, boys. OH. This is a fluorinated. Orthofluorophenol. Orthofluorophenol. So between, this is high electron element, this is hydrogen. Hydrogen connected with high oxygen electron element. So there is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So this is also intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So because of this intermolecular hydrogen bonding, there is a ring closing is possible. See here, actually this is one group, but because of formation of this hydrogen bond, so ring is closed, which is called as a chelation. Chelation. The chelation increases the stability of the molecule. The chelation increases the stability of the molecule. Here also, actually there is no bond between these two bonds. So because of hydrogen bonds, there is a closing. Ring closing is possible. This is chelation is applicable. Okay. So that means a hydrogen bond formed between two groups of the same molecule is called as intramolecular. Between two groups of the two molecules, a hydrogen bond is formed. That is called as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. See here. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. See here. Now, see, there is HF molecule, there is hydrogen atom of the another molecule. So this is one HF, this is another molecule. Between them, hydrogen bond is formed. There is a H2O molecule and there is hydrogen. Here also hydrogen bond is formed. Next, there is NH3 molecule. So this is water molecule, this is ammonia molecule, this is bonded with hydrogen. All these are hydrogen bonds, no doubts. Listen carefully. All these are hydrogen bonds. Now all these hydrogen bonds have same strength or different strength. That means all having equal bond energy, hydrogen bond. To break this bond, something energy is required, that energy is called as bond energy. And all these have same energy or different energies. No doubt. So all these bond energies of hydrogen bonds are different. The bond energies of all these bonds are different. So which one has highest bond energy? Which one has less bond energy? So see here, it is the fluorine. Its electronegativity is 4.0. Its electronegativity is 3.5. Its electronegativity is 3.0. 3.0. As electronegativity of the element increases, this attractive force also increases. As the attractive force increases, the formed bond is also strong. Therefore, it is the strongest bond. It is the strongest bond. It is a strong bond. It is a weak bond. Weak bond. That means as electronegativity of electronegative elements increases, hydrogen bond strength also increases. Hydrogen bond strength also increases. Let us say this is first bond, this is second bond, this is third bond. Therefore, hydrogen bonds strength order is 1 greater than 2 greater than 3. Hydrogen bond strength is in the order of electronegativity of the elements. Electronegativity of the elements. So difference of electronegativity of the elements. So generally, the strength of this hydrogen bond energy is in between 10 kilojoules to 40 kilojoule per mole. The order, it is in between. That means, so lower value is at least 10 kilojoules, higher value almost 40 kilojoules. That means this is the energy needed to break the hydrogen bonds. Here less energy is sufficient, here more energy is sufficient. Here maybe 10 kilojoules, here maybe 40 kilojoules. Therefore, so the range of hydrogen bond energy, is in between 10 kilojoules to 40 kilojoules. It is in between 10 kilojoules to 40 kilojoules. Next, there is a question. So nitrogen electronegativity is 3.0. Nitrogen electronegativity is 3.0 and chlorine also electronegativity 3.0. But nitrogen can form hydrogen bonds, but not chlorine. Why not? So see here. Yes, the question is both nitrogen and chlorine have electronegativity value 3.0. Electronegativity value 3.0. But nitrogen can form hydrogen bonds, but not chlorine. Why? But not chlorine. Why? So see here, in NH3, I'm using nitrogen, there 3.0. Next, there is hydrogen. So between them, hydrogen bond is possible. Between them, hydrogen bond is possible. This is possible, boys. There is HCl. There is hydrogen. HCl hydrogen. Here I am expecting this hydrogen bond and attractive force. This is not possible. Why not, sir? Because nitrogen atom has a small size, but chlorine atom has a big size. But chlorine atom has a big size. So this attractive force is strong when the atom size is small. That is why. So nitrogen has a small size, chlorine has a big size. Therefore, big size atoms never form hydrogen bonds. Therefore, so nitrogen can only form hydrogen bonds, but not chlorine because of more size of chlorine. Because of more size of chlorine, chlorine cannot form hydrogen bond, even though its electronegativity is equal to nitrogen. Nitrogen can form because it has small sizes. That means atoms must be small in size. Chlorine is small sized atom, oxygen is small sized atom, nitrogen is small sized atom, but chlorine has more size. That is why. So electronegativity permits, but size not permits for the formation of that hydrogen bond. That's why chlorine, most frequently chlorine generally not formed, but very rarely chlorine gives hydrogen bond because of more size. Because of more sizes. So this is the reason behind why chlorine not gives hydrogen bond. That's why generally we consider high electro negative elements as fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen. These three are only we consider. That means hydrogen bond frequently forms only with these elements and not with chlorine. Not with chlorine. So this is why chlorine doesn't generally form. Why not? Chlorine doesn't give. That is hydrogen bond. Okay. So did you catch the point, my dear boys? Why chlorine not gives hydrogen bond? Because of its more size. Because of its more size. So as the electronegativity of the element increases, strength of hydrogen bond also increases. As the electronegativity of the element increases, strength of hydrogen bond also increases. Okay. This is all about formation. So what is hydrogen bond? It is a weak electrostatic force of attraction between high electronegative element and hydrogen atom, which is called as hydrogen bond. It may be formed between two molecules or within the molecule. If it is in between the molecules, that is called as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. It is within the molecule, that is called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Intramolecular hydrogen bond. This hydrogen bond plays an important role in the physical properties of the compounds. So that means now what are the effects of this hydrogen bonds? What are the effects of this hydrogen bonds? See boys. Effects of hydrogen bonding. So see here, first one. It affects about molecular weight of the compound. It affects on molecular weight of compounds. Some compounds, not all. Some compounds because of this hydrogen bond. See here, acetic acid. Acetic acid. Its formula is CH3COOH. Acetic acid. This acetic acid exists as a dimer. Dimer means two molecules combine with each other. Di stands for two. Mer means merging. So two compounds are combined. That is called as dimer. Three molecules are combined, trimer. Four molecules, tetramer. Many molecules, polymer. Dimer means two molecules are going to be combined. Two molecules. So see here, that is CH3, C double bond O, OH. This is COOH. This is COOH, CH3 COOH. This is also CH3 COOH. So I am representing with this one. CH3, C double bond O, OH. There are two acetic acid molecules. There are two acetic acid molecules. Okay. So this is oxygen connected with hydrogen. This hydrogen gets partial positive charge. This oxygen gets partial negative charge. Here also, this hydrogen gets partial positive charge. This oxygen gets partial negative charge. This is one molecule. It is the first molecule. This is the first molecule. This is the second molecule. And this is second molecule. So this is the hydrogen nearer to this oxygen. Oxygen is the more electronegative element. There is a weak electrostatic attractive force. Here also weak electrostatic attractive force. So that means these two hydrogen bonds bring these two molecules together. That means These two combination gives a dimer state. And why acetic acid exists as a dimer? Why acetic acid exists as a dimer? Because of hydrogen bond. What type of hydrogen bonds are? So it is one molecule, it is another molecule. Between two molecules, there is hydrogen bond. What type of hydrogen bond? Is this intermolecular or intramolecular? Either one or two. Tell me, is this intermolecular or intramolecular? One, yes. Between the molecules. Between the two molecules, there is hydrogen bond. Intermolecular hydrogen bond. That is why it is boys, inter, not intra. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. And so because of intermolecular hydrogen bonding, acetic acid molecule exists as a dimer. Because of this, the molecular weight of acetic acid is 120, not 60. So generally acetic acid the formula CH3COOH, nothing but two carbons C2, oxygen 2 O2, hydrogen 4 H4. So I'm going to calculate molecular weight. Two carbons 2 12 24, oxygen 2 16 32, 4 oxygens 4 hydrogens 4 and so 4 plus 4 8 plus 2 10. This is 60. Actually the acetic acid molecular weight is 60 we expected. But this is 160, this is 160 altogether always. This acetic acid exists as a dimer in either like molecules. And so that is why it is not 60, it is 120. That means the molecular weight is doubled because of this dimerization. Because of this dimerization, which is called as abnormal molecular weight. Normally the molecular weight is 60, but acetic acid exists as a dimer, that's why its molecular weight is doubled, that is which is called as abnormal molecular weight. So this abnormal molecular weight is due to the dimerization of acetic acid. That is due to intermolecular hydrogen bonding. That is due to intermolecular. That means intermolecular hydrogen bonding affects the molecular weight of the molecules. It is one of the factors. It is one of the factors. One of the effects that is caused by this intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Next one. It affects boiling point of the compound. It affects the boiling point of the compound. Second case study. Boiling points of the compound. It affects the boiling point of the compound. So see boys, actually, as the molecular weight increases, boiling point, melting point and boiling point also increases. As the molecular weight increases, melting and boiling points also increases. This is the general concept. This is the general concept. See here, I am taking one group, that is the 16th group. 16th group elements are oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. And oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. So I am taking up to tellurium and up to tellurium. Okay. So now I am taking hydrates of this compound. That is the H2O, H2S, H2SC, H2TE. Top to bottom, molecular weight increases. We expect boiling point is also increases. We expect boiling point also increases. That's why the order is H2O less than, H2S less than, H2SE less than, H2TE. This is expected boiling point. Expected boiling point. But so original value H2S less than, H2SE less than, H2TE less than, H2O. Actually we expected H2O has less boiling point. H2O has less boiling point, but H2O has greatest boiling point. H2O has less, we expected H2O has less boiling point, but H2O has greatest boiling point. Therefore, the order of boiling points is H2S less than, H2SE less than, H2TE, tellurium. less than H2O. Therefore, water has the greatest boiling point in the hydrates of 16th group element. That is due to it has highest boiling points due to intermolecular hydrogen bonding. And so intermolecular hydrogen bonding. See here, I will explain the concepts. I'm taking water and H2S. I'm taking water and H2S. Water, this is H2O molecule. This is H2O molecule. This is H2O molecule. Water molecules are there. So, okay. So this is one molecule. This is another molecule. This is another molecule. So because oxygen and hydrogen, there is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. There is intermolecular hydrogen bond. There is intermolecular hydrogen bonding like this. So these are the hydrogen bonds. Dotted lines, each one is hydrogen bond. Because of this, all these water molecules are associated. Associated. Now I am considering second example, second one, H2S. The same group is there. H2S. So this is HSH, HSH, HSH. These are H2S molecules, my boys. This sulfur is not highest electrolyte element. It is not under fluorine, nitrogen, and oxygen. Only these three elements gives hydrogen bond. It is other than those three elements. That is why there is no hydrogen bond between the molecules. That means these molecules are free. These are individual molecules, discrete molecules. That is why just by heating, these molecules are going to evaporate. That is why. So what is the temperature? What is boiling point? That is the temperature required to convert that liquid into vapor. Here less temperature is sufficient because these molecules are free. These are discrete molecules. Less temperature is sufficient. That is why H2S boiling point is less. But here, so these water molecules are associated. So to evaporate these water molecules, there is a need of breaking of these four hydrogen bonds. So there is a need of breaking of these bonds. That means more and more energy is required. More and more energy is required to break these hydrogen bonds also. That means, so there is a need of high temperature than that of that one. Therefore, boiling point of water is very, very higher than that of H2S. It is due to intermolecular because there is a hydrogen bond between molecule and molecule. It is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Between water molecules, intermolecular hydrogen bonding is exists. Because of that, its boiling point is abnormally increases. So that is why the order of boiling point is H2S less than H2SE less than H2TE less than H2O. So number of times asked Bitra, it is the order of boiling point and it is the order of boiling points. Like this, other groups are also possible. Other groups are also possible. So did you catch my point, my device? So water has more boiling point because of intermolecular hydrogen bond. But similar hydrogen bonds are not possible in case of H2S. Therefore, H2S has low boiling point and H2O has more boiling point. So with a similar reason, ammonia also same also. So the order of different molecules is boiling point order. Boiling point order SnH4 greater than germanium H4 greater than SiH4 greater than CH4. It is for 14th group elements. Next, for 15th group element, SbH3 greater than NH3 greater than AsH3 greater than PH3. Please try to mind, my dear boys, it is the 15th group element. Hydrates are 15th group element. Next, 16th group element. H2O greater than H2TE greater than H2SE greater than H2S. It is for 16th group element. For 17th group element, HF greater than HI greater than HBr greater than HCl. It is for 17th group elements. So these are the orders of hydrates of, these are all hydrates of group elements. These are the hydrates of group elements. These are all boiling point orders. See here, no hydrogen bond is possible. But here, ammonia is involved in hydrogen bonding. Here, water involved in hydrogen bonding. Here, HF involved in hydrogen bonding. So because of hydrogen bond, lower, we expected lower boiling point, but because of these hydrogen bonds, these have greatest boiling points. Greatest boiling points. So these are the orders of boiling points. Please try to note the points. Try to note the points. Okay. So this is boiling point. Next question. So based on this boiling point, see here. The hydrogen bond strength in HF is more than that of H2O. Hydrogen bond strength in HF is more than that of H2O. So more hydrogen bond strength, more energy is required to break that hydrogen bond. That means, so we expect boiling point of HF is more than boiling point of H2O. But boiling point of H2O is greater than boiling point of HF. Why? This is the question. So did you catch my point, my dear boys? See here, already I told to you, there is HF, like this is exists. This is HF molecule, this is HF molecule, this is HF molecule. There is hydrogen bond, there is hydrogen bond. Here, fluorine is the highest electronegative element. Fluorine, it has 4.0. Therefore, this hydrogen bond is the strongest hydrogen bond. Okay, so in H2O, these are H2O molecules. These are H2O molecules. So see here. So here hydrogen bonds are there, but it is 3.5 only. Therefore, it is when compared to this is a weak bond. That means it is easy to break, it is difficult to break. Therefore, boiling point here is high and here is low. Therefore, boiling point of HF is more than that of boiling point of water. But practically we proved that boiling point of water is greater than that of boiling point of HF. Why? Boiling point of HF. Why? Why? Because, so see here, I am giving the reason. So I am giving the, see boys. In a H2O molecule, these are water molecules. These are non-water molecules. Each water molecule is surrounded with 4 hydrogen bonds. This is one water molecule. This also with this one. So like this. So each water molecule, on average, it is 4 ends. These are the water molecules. These are the water molecules. That means more number of hydrogen bonds are possible. More number of hydrogen bonds. More number of hydrogen. But in case of HF, I am drawing here HF. So on average, this is 1, this is 2. This is, so on average, 2 bonds end. 2 hydrogen bonds end. Here on average, 4 hydrogen bonds. So that means more number of hydrogen bonds are going to be break to vaporize these molecules. To vaporize these molecules. Just it is two hydrogen bonds are going to be break to vaporize this molecule. That means here less energy is sufficient to break these two bonds, but to break these four bonds, more energy is required. So therefore, the first reason is water has more almost double the number of hydrogen bonds than in HF than in HF. More hydrogen bonds are possible in H2O than that of HF molecule. Next, so water, if you want to go to vaporize this water molecule, each and every water hydrogen bonds are going to be broken. All these four hydrogen bonds are going to break, otherwise it is not vaporized. Otherwise this is not vaporized. So, but in HF, see here, HF, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So between these, hydrogen bonds are exist. So hydrogen bonds are exist. If you break this bond and this bond, this HF6 molecule, and only these two bonds are going to break. This HF6 molecule exists in vapor. That means only two bonds are going to break for 6 molecules vaporization. That means just to break up 2 bonds needed less energy. But here every bond should be breaking in. That is why. So HF6 molecule exists in vapor state. Therefore, because of these two reasons, therefore boiling point of water is greater than that of boiling point of HF. Boiling point of water is greater than that of boiling point of HF. Those 2 points are very, very important points. So water has double the number of hydrogen bonds and HF exists as HF6 molecule. So that's why only less number of hydrogen bonds are going to break. That's the HF required. Very less energy to vaporize that molecule. Next one. Water is in liquid state, associated liquid. Why water is associated liquid? Because of this hydrogen bond. Molecules are associated, that is the H2O is existing liquid state. So that is because of association, this water exists as associated liquid. But H2S, same group hydride, is a gas because no hydrogen bond. Here hydrogen bond exists. Here hydrogen bond exists. Here hydrogen bond, no hydrogen bond. Therefore, associated H2O, H2 is a gas. So it is also important, boys. Is H2O. H2O is liquid, but H2 is gas at temperature. Why? So between one molecule there is intermolecular hydrogen bond, but in H2 there is no intermolecular hydrogen bond. The molecular association, no molecular association, molecule free H2S. That's why the H2S is in gaseous state, H2O is in liquid state. So that means it affects the physical state of the molecules. We expected water as vapor, but at room temperature water exists as a liquid because of intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Next, boys, generally intermolecular hydrogen bonds increases the boiling points of the substance. Intramolecular hydrogen bond decreases the boiling point of the substance. Intermolecular hydrogen bond increases the boiling point of the substance. Intramolecular hydrogen bond decreases the boiling point of the substance. So those liquids having lower boiling points are volatile liquids. Volatile liquids. So that is a more volatile liquids. But these are less volatile liquids. less volatile liquid. So volatility means easy to vaporize. More volatile means more easy to vaporize. So petrol is more volatile than water. Petrol is more volatile than water. Why? Because petrol is easy to evaporate. Petrol is easy to evaporate. Petrol is more volatile than water. So that's why. So volatility means easy to evaporate. Volatility means easy to evaporate. So those liquids having less boiling points are more volatile. So that less boiling point is presence of intramolecular hydrogen bonding. So based on this, a question is there. Orthonitrophenol is more volatile than paranitrophenol. Why? Orthonitrophenol is more volatile than paranitrophenol. Why? See here, orthonitrophenol means this is the structure. It is a phenol. There is NO2 group. So here, intramolecular hydrogen bonding there. Next, it is phenol. It is a paranitro position. So these two groups are not at the nearby positions. That's why hydrogen bond actually within the molecule not existent. But so I'm taking one more molecule. It is OH. It is NO2. So it is one molecule. It is another molecule, boys. Between this oxygen and this hydrogen, there is hydrogen bond, which is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So this is orthonitrophenol. This is paranitrophenol. In orthonitrophenol, intramolecular hydrogen bonding, no molecular association. Here, molecules are going to be associated with other molecular association. Therefore, more boiling points. Therefore, here, less boiling points. Less boiling point means more volatile. Less boiling point means more volatile. So, more boiling point means less volatile. Less volatile. Therefore, intermolecular hydrogen bonding increases the boiling point. That's why less volatile. So, intramolecular hydrogen bonding decreases the boiling point. Therefore, more volatility. Therefore, orthonitrophenol is more volatile than paranitrophenol. It is because of this reason. This reason. Next, this hydrogen bond influences the solubility of the compound. This hydrogen bond influences the solubility of the compound. See by it, boys. Actually, alcohol, organic and non-polar, water, polar and. As actually we expect both these are not miscible in it. Both these are not miscible in, but water and alcohol miscible with each other. Miscible with each other. So this is not correct. This is corrected. Water and alcohol miscible with each other. Okay. Why? Because of intermolecular hydrogen bonding and intermolecular hydrogen bonding. See here, water molecule H2O. Okay. This is what H2O molecules. Alcohol ROH. This is carbon. So between this is water molecule, this is alcohol molecule. Between water molecule and alcohol molecule, there is this intermolecular hydrogen bond. Because of this, water and alcohol molecules are miscible to each other. Water and alcohol molecules are miscible to each other because of this intermolecular hydrogen bonding. These are all some effects. These are all some effects that is due to hydrogen bonding and hydrogen bonding. Okay. So another one is whenever a complex with odd number of water molecules, hydrogen bond exists. A complex with odd number of water molecules, hydrogen bond exists. Even number of water molecules, no hydrogen bond in it. See here, that is CuSO4 5H2O. CuSO4 5H2O. So here, one water molecule is involved in hydrogen bonding. And one water molecule is involved in hydrogen bonding. How, sir? See here. CuH2O 4 times a complex is formed, SO4, one water molecule in it. This water molecule is hydrogen bonded with SO4, anion. These water molecules are connected with copper. 4 water molecules are connected with cation, 1 water molecule with anion. Between this water and sulfide ions, there is hydrogen bonding. There is hydrogen bonding. So therefore, a complex with odd number of water molecules must contain hydrogen bond with anions. So these are some effects. These are some effects in hydrogen bonding. So water exists in liquid state because of hydrogen bond. Next, dimerization of that is our acetic acid or perchloric acid like molecules. It is due to hydrogen bonds. Abnormal molecular mass, hydrogen bonds. Insoluble substances are going to be soluble. Water and alcohol soluble. It is due to hydrogen bonds. Okay, all these are some effects in hydrogen bonds. So this is the way to explain hydrogen bonds. So right now, thank you, boys.